Hello and welcome to High Caliber TV, your source for figure and model updates every Wednesday and Friday. Today on the Workbench, I'm just going to be showing off what I was able to achieve over the weekend. I decided to take a running head start at the latest releases from Alpine Miniatures and be one of the first people to finish them. It's not a race, but I figured I'd give it a go anyway. So here you can see the SS NCO who's accompanying Max Valencia in the latest Duo 1/35 scale from Alpine Miniatures. I just love whenever they do greatcoats. The Alpine Miniatures greatcoats on Germans, as far as I'm concerned, are some of the best out there. And I know that's a really weird detail to fixate on, but the way that he's able to make them lay, like the belt on the back there, how it's just sort of casually laying down, and all the definition, it's sharp where it needs to be and soft where it needs to be. Yeah, oh, it's just fantastic. Lots of weathering on this fella and on Valencia. I used a lot of MIG pigments and some CMK Stardust to just blend it all in a little bit. As you can see, there's a bit of a gradient from dark mud up into a dusty effect and then up into the rest of the coat. Pretty happy with the way this guy turned out. I actually was able to use a little bit of War Pig pigment on his face to simulate a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow. Yeah, really like how this guy turned out. And here is Max Valencia. I'm not sure about the history behind this fella. I've mentioned that in the previous video where I talked a bit about him. Alpine Miniatures did another figure of the same ace, so here he is in his most recent outing from Alpine Miniatures. The trousers on this fella and the greatcoat on the NCO were both done with an airbrush, and I'm really happy with the way that came out. I'm still learning by baby steps very much how to airbrush 1/35 scale figures and even 1/16 scale stuff as well. Not too sure about how the camouflage came out, but, well, he looks a bit better in person than he does on the camera, I can tell you that. So he's grimy as well. And he's also got a head wound that is bandaged up. I use that head because I always figure heads with scarves or bandages always add a little bit more character to the figure. You can sort of piece together a bit more of a story. Yeah. And finally, I'm really excited about this guy. This is my work in progress on the 1/16 scale Uboat captain from Alpine Miniatures. I really admire the work that Dr. Jin Kim did on the box art on this guy. I mean, I always do. I'm never, not impressed by his stuff, but especially this one. I tried and continuously failed for the first evening of highlights on this guy and the shadows. I think I've fixed it, sort of. Yeah, he's a bit fixed up now, but initially he just looked blue, and that's why I really like what Dr. Kim did, because he was able to turn something that is a single color, just this really boring navy blue, and he made it really dynamic, and I'm trying to replicate that as well. I'm, of course, as you can see, onto the weathering of this fella. He's gonna look like he just climbed out of a U-boat that was on a sortie into the Atlantic for a couple of weeks. Since, of course, if you know anything about U-boats, the sanitation isn't their their primary concern when they're underwater attacking Allied convoys in the Atlantic. So he wouldn't have been able to shave or shower or clean any of his clothes during the entire time they were underwater, or even above water. So there you go. So, for all these figures and many more, be sure to check us out at highcaliberminiatures.com. These guys, as I mentioned, are all in stock now. I'm going to be doing a Figure Friday on them, just to reiterate that this week. And check us out on Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter for daily updates on stuff like this. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.